Oi oi guys, beautiful Friday morning, up and at 'em, out here doing it. And I'll tell you what, that sun is beautiful. It's I love it getting up at this time in the morning and getting out just as that sun's just cracking over the horizon, and man, and it's quiet, it's peaceful. I mean, I play my music, but I like to walk a little bit and listen to the outside world when I'm on my first little bit of the walk, and then I throw the headphones on. But I've taken a couple of snapshots of the sun this morning, and I'll tell you what, we are very, very, very lucky to be able to experience such a thing. Absolute miracle that we're even here. Brings me to my subject about overstimulation. I think we are very, very overstimulated as a humankind right now. I think with everything that's coming out and the technology and everything, I think it's a great thing. I like technology. I'm not very good with using it, and those that know me well will laugh because I'm often going, how do I do that with the technology? But I think we become overstimulated. The rate of social anxiety that's gone up is crazy. And I think the anxiety in general, or the mental health I should say, not just anxiety, mental health in general, has pretty much gone in a downward direction when it comes to, the socials and stuff like that, because younger generations now are sitting on their phones a lot more. And pick that up, bit of plastic. Don't just walk by it, pick it up. Getting overstimulated with the old cell phones, which I'll tell you what, even with ourselves, if we don't start monitoring things like that, it becomes a really, really big problem because it keeps people inside. And overstimulation in adults, don't be that person that all of a sudden is not doing things or not getting out there. I know some people, they would prefer to miss, say, being outside with their kids and playing and bonding, and they'd rather be like sitting indoors and, say, watching TV, because even that's a stimulant. Watching TV or scrolling on the old phone. You find yourself, I tell you what, set a timer. Set a timer. If you want to start scrolling, set a timer, because how many times have you sat there and then looked up and gone, oh shit, an hour's gone by, or you're gonna do something, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, bloody hell, I only got 5 minutes. I've done it plenty. But it's not good for the system. It's not good for the mind, that's for sure. Absolutely not good for the mind at all. So what's your stimulation, guys? I mean, it could be a really bad thing if you let it get out of control. Also, be careful what you're reading. It's not all gospel out there. There's people that will write things out there just to get a response. Some people will come up and start writing things because they want to get a rise out of you. They could get jealous or something like that, and they might want a rise out of you. So they may start writing things to you, or directly to you, especially if you're putting content out there. If you're a content creator, be ready for some of those that's going to come and they're not going to like what you're doing. Because it happens. You're going to get someone that's like, yeah, don't like that. Okay, fair enough. All good. But when you get into when you're reading, and you're reading content, let's be sensible, yeah? You don't know who's out there putting that up there, right? It's like getting those emails saying, hey, listen, I've got a family member that's not well and they need 30 million, or, right? If you'd send that, yeah, right? You don't know who the heck is on the other end of that. I mean, we know through the content of what's being written right there, right? I think we have a bit of an idea. But if you're taking somebody's word on online as gospel, unless it comes from an absolute, it comes from a good source, then the research is the research. So go out there and look more. Don't just take one person's word for something. Go out there and do your research. But again, set a timer. Maybe set a timer. If you're a person that gets carried away, and when I say scrolling, if you're reading something, you're learning something, or you're reading a book, or whatever that may be, as far as in that direction, educational direction, okay, you're educating yourself. But I'm talking about the freaking thumb scrollers, right? That thing, right? Do it all the time. I'm just as much to blame. But watch your overstimulation. I know with my dog, anybody that knows me knows we got a new dog, and he can be overstimulated. He's a breed that can get overstimulated, and you have to be on it. And I recognise that because we got a new breed. We've always had Rottweilers, always. And this time we got an American Pit Bull rescued. And I tell you, completely different temperament, completely different way that they are, the way they play, beautiful, beautiful animal. I mean, he's such a lovely guy. But they can get overstimulated. They're very in it. They got a lot of energy. And when they get overstimulated, you've got to be careful. You've got to be, when I say careful, you don't want them overstimulated. It's like an overstimulated kid. And that's exactly how he reacts. He gets overstimulated. So then you got to be like, okay, like we should, well, no shoulds, be a better choice to see yourself like we see our boy, our dog, and say, okay, let's calm down a little bit, just like we do with him. All right, let's calm down a little bit. We'll play with him and he'll be, running around and everything, but then you can tell that they're starting to get overstimulated. So it's like, okay, time out, let's go. Let's calm down for a little bit, a few minutes, rest time. Do that with yourself. Don't take it for granted. Don't take things for granted that I'm all right. I don't do that. I don't do that a lot. When you know you are. So keep that in check. Spend the time getting out there with your kids. Spend the time getting out there and exercising. Spend the time maybe getting some breath work in and some meditation. How many times do I hear, I ain't got time? You know what? Check your scrolling time. Write it down. Write it down throughout the week. Put a time down when you start scrolling and put another time down when you end. And see where you're at. Because you can spend that time on progression for yourself. Getting in there, doing that breath work and outside and spending the time with the kids and the partner. Getting out, having date nights. And another thing, don't get out on a bloody date night or out with your family and there you are all sitting on your phone. Make a rule. We go out and we sit down, no phones. You all sit down, you all go out for something to eat, everybody's on their phone, nobody's talking. Sat in an airport once, I was on my way back to London. And I was doing that, I was looking at my phone. I sat over out of the way. And I could hear these kids playing. And I looked up and I'm looking at these kids, young kids. And they're having a blast. They're rolling around on someone, they're of his mum, dad, whatever, suitcase, right? And they're rolling around, they're having a blast, they're laughing and, And I look around at everybody else. Everybody's on their phone. Nobody's even paying attention to what's going on. The joy that's going on. Because I tell you, it made me smile. I sat there watching them because they were having an absolute blast. And then I guess it was the dad, again, I don't know. Obviously a family member. He gets up and he starts playing with them and messing around with the suitcase and that. And it was an absolute bloody joy to see it and watch it. because everybody else was blind. Overstimulation. Don't miss what's going on around you. Everybody has a great weekend. Hope everybody's out there, PMA, PPA, getting it done, moving forward. Remember the stimulation. Have a great weekend, guys. Stay that course. Namaste.